Welcome to American Delusions. I'm Mark Orton, the creator, and this episode is on the justice system, the police, courts, and laws in criminal cases. The justice delusion is one of the most potent ones in the American culture. We all firmly believe, and we're reminded by the mass media continuously, that our justice system provides fairness, it's an equal shake, blind justice, a jury of our peers, the rule of laws, everyone is equal before the law. The amendments to the Constitution 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 14 articulate more about our rights before the law. The Sixth Amendment guarantees a public trial, legal representation, an impartial jury, timely action, identities of accusers, and the charges and evidence against you in a criminal matter. The Supreme Court has ruled that legal representation is a right in criminal cases. The reality is quite different. Over 98% of federal prosecutions are plea bargained before even going to trial, because who has the financial resources to fight the government? From this graphic, trials are rare, and 90% pled guilty, and only 2% went to trial. And state courts are very similar. The cost for a criminal lawyer started at $150 an hour and rise quickly. The cost of a simple misdemeanor trial can run from $1,200 to $3,000. And this in a country where 4 in 10 adults have difficulty paying for an unexpected $400 expense without either selling something or borrowing money. Public defenders, court-appointed attorneys, and contract defense attorneys are underpaid, overworked, and outgunned by state prosecutors. This strengthens the hands of prosecutors to force defendants into plea bargain guilty pleas. Nationwide, prosecutor offices receive $3.5 billion more in funding than public defense budgets. And prosecutors act without transparency and substantially without oversight. And they employ a wide array of tactics to coerce defendants: charge stacking, pretrial detention with unaffordable bail, threats to investigate family and friends, and more. Over 400,000 people are locked up because they cannot afford bail. The bail system is an integral component of the mass incarceration system. As this graphic shows, 74% of the people who are in jail are not convicted. They're there because they cannot meet bail. And the U.S. locks up more people by far and for far longer than other countries. And there's little evidence to suggest that it deters crime. And 1 out of 5 prisoners in the world is incarcerated in the U.S., even though we have only 4.5% of the world's population. And the trends in U.S. corrections over the last 40 years have been vertiginous. And they all start with the crassest political shenanigans by the Nixon administration with its war on drugs, America's longest and most unsuccessful war, and it extends even to this day. And we stand out in the world in the rate of incarceration per 100,000. You can see here that we're far out ahead of Russia and Brazil and other countries. We can be proud. We're number 1. And finally, about the reality, the U.S. incarceration and the justice system in general is deeply racist. And it really is a part of the American white supremacist enterprise. And the results displayed here show that on their own. Then we have fines and fees. Many states impose all sorts of fines and fees as part of the judicial process. And Ferguson, Missouri is a poster child. Just to pick a couple of numbers here, from 2012 to 14, 85% of the people who were stopped, 90% of those who received a citation, and 93% of those arrested were black, where only 7% of Ferguson's population is black. And our system of justice is really a system of lifelong punishment. We have a system of parole, probation. There are many, many barriers to employment once you get out of jail, barriers to housing, and in most states, no voting rights. Let's turn for a moment then to the police. They're disproportionately focused on non-white citizens, and they're phenomenally aggressive and violent. They lead the world in killing civilians. Once again, we're number one in killing civilians. And the police are substantially protected from civil oversight and accountability. On the other hand, they're expected to deal with social problems that really shouldn't be part of policing. Mental illness, drug addiction, family disputes, and just to pause for a moment on both mental illness and drug addiction, we don't really have a health system in the United States. And this is really comes to the fore when you look at how we treat people with mental problems. Many of them end up in jail because we have inadequate public health resources for mental illness. And the same thing happens with drug addiction. In many jurisdictions, police are a revenue-generating arm of government. We pointed that out in the Ferguson case, but there are lots of places where a significant portion of local budgets comes from fines and fees that the police generate. Then we have the militarization of our police. In the last 20 to 30 years, the federal government has given away billions and billions of what essentially are surplus army and military equipment to the police, and training in militarized tactics for how to approach civilian problems. 85% of police are male. And racial diversity continues to be a problem, especially in the upper ranks of the police department. So what's the upshot here? The gap between the myth of American criminal justice, you remember that from the very beginning, that old fairness and we're all equal before the law routine. There's a gigantic Grand Canyon abyss between that myth and the reality of our justice system. And the situation in civil courts is, if anything, worse. But that's a whole separate and lengthy tale. So here are the references. You can always see them at in the description below the video. So thanks for watching this episode. Please subscribe. And you can always visit us at AmericanDelusions.com.